So welcome, everyone. This is always a good thing to come here and to see you in person, to see actual bodies, not just a picture of it across the wires. Here we are together, perhaps twice, perhaps in the last year. And it seems like that hasn't really happened because when I see you, I see now. I don't see a year ago. I'm seeing you right this moment. Okay. So I'm going to invite you to kindly turn off your cell phones if you haven't already done that, because I can easily be disturbed when I hear a noise that doesn't belong in the environment in which we sit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So welcome again to the Science of Mind. It is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. That's what we study in the Science of Mind. That's what we try to practice. We learn what the laws of thought are, and then we make the best effort in following those laws, in using those laws to enhance our lives, because you're here to give glory to God, to express the glory of God, to express the love of God, to express the more of God, not the less, not the shrinkage, but the expansion and growth. So welcome to the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought, the conception that we live in a spiritual universe, that God is in us, around us, and for us, and there is nothing against us. The Science of Mind is also a correlation of the laws of science. A correlation of the laws of science, the opinions of philosophy, and the revelation of religion applied to human need and the aspirations of humankind. So today is a giant step in the attempt to return to a sense of normalcy after almost 2 years. So in keeping with the theme for this month from Home Office, as mentioned before, is pause for guidance. What is that saying to you? If you want to be guided, take time to rest, pause, stop. And sometimes it means shut up. So my question to you is, and I want you to answer this question within yourself as we go along. How would you like to live your life meaningfully with love and peace? Period. Question mark. Ianla Vincent said this: life infused us with the power to conceive, express, and enjoy the fruits of our creative power. We create through thought, word, and deed. We are each here to reveal the creative ideal of the divine. Wonderful, isn't it? That she said that many years ago. One day, my soul just opened up, she said. One day, my soul just opened up. It's a realization. Something happens when you experience that moment, that instant holy moment where you experience something, aha. You know what an aha is? Anybody can describe, don't do it. Describe what an aha is. I'll tell you what an aha is. I'll tell you later. That was an aha. See? Gotcha. Gotcha. What would a pause look like that sparks the imagination? Not sparkles the imagination, which I saw online. There's a mistake by us. It sparks the imagination. It might look like a regularly spaced time off just to relax and to take some daily time out. It might be time to rest and reflect and be more specific in this particular case, for instance, to relax, rest and change, exchange and rechange, recharge also. So quiet time just for you to think what you would want life to feel like and look like. How many of you ever taken time in the last 5 years to just take time for you to think of what you would like life to be for you? 5 hands, 6 hands, 7 hands, 8 hands. What's the rest of us doing? It is time to spark the imagination. The reason is that life has never called for that more than right now. Napoleon Hill said to us, the imagination is the workshop of the mind. That's why we need to spark it. That's why we need to make it alive. We need to wake it up. We need to set a fire in it. We need to make it look like it's really working. The imagination is the workshop of the mind. When you go to a workshop, what do you expect to do? What do you expect to see? What do you expect to hear? What do you expect to feel when you go to a workshop? That's what the mind is there for us to do the workshop for our well-being. Do you know that? Your mind is there for your well-being, because your well-being means that you are in alignment with the presence of the divine. Because God doesn't do anything wrong, doesn't make any mistakes, doesn't forget and regret. And if we're in alignment with that presence, we'll talk about getting into alignment a little later in my talk here with you. When we are in alignment with that presence, everything seems to just be right in the moment. It flows. And it is consistent with all the other things that are happening at the same time. You understand what I mean? So why imagination time should be considered sacred? Imagination time should be considered sacred. What do you usually spend time imagining? Don't answer the question verbally, because you don't want, some of you don't want your ears to hear what you might say that is. Because whatever our body, our mind hears us say, sets the law in motion to fulfill that statement. So anything you say, I am, da, 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 your body says, the mind says, yes, I'm going to make you da, 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 da. You ever said to you, you foolish thing, you're so stupid? Why would we say that about ourselves? Because we don't realize the power of our word. In the beginning was the word, and the word became God. The word was God. And the word became flesh and dwells with us. What does that really say? In the beginning, you were made in the image and likeness of God, and that has never changed. It'll never go away. You'll never be anything less, even if you dare and stupidly think so. Excuse the word stupid. Dr. Holmes says, there is something within you that sings the song of eternity. You ever heard it? Something within you that sings the song of eternity. Listen to it. Listen to it. When we take time to practice these principles of the science of mind, we discover the simplicity and ease of directions of how to use the most powerful tools you and I have. The most powerful tools. Those tools are, you know what? Simple. Time and something that begins with a capital M, and it's not money. Mind. time and mind. If we use those two properly, you know what? There isn't a person in this room who would not be able to feel a sense of aliveness that you could barely stand sitting down by yourself. You would want to jump up and dance and be happy and looking forward to life and making life something worth living, not just being dragged by circumstances, which is what a lot of people are feeling right now. They're tied up behind a big vehicle that's dragging them into each day. No, stand on your feet and feel like the aliveness that you were intended to be. Stand on the feet and take your place in life. Let God be God in you. There's something within you that sings a song of eternity. Listen to it. Listen to it. So on page 410 of The Science of Mind, here's what Dr. Holmes says about things like that. He says, in practice, we state clearly in words what these words mean to us, and then we relate these statements to some needed experience or to some desired good which we are not experiencing. What is he talking about? He's talking about a positive statement about yourself, about singing and listening to the song of life, the song of eternity in you. He says, in practice, we state clearly these words, what these words mean to us, and then we relate these statements to some needed experience. In other words, apply it to your life. Some needed experience, something you would like to change, something you'd like to experience, something you would like to expand. Apply it to those things. He says, after using whatever words will bring conviction to our thought, we do what? We pause. We don't go purr like a kitty. We P-A-U-S. We pause. We pause and try to realize the presence of the all power from which every special good comes. Wow. This is adding the spirit of the letter of the law. However, we should never forget that both the letter and the spirit are necessary in our work. The letter molds while the spirit creates. It continues. He said, the thought is a mold. When we have a thought, we are setting up a mold, a receptacle, if you will. The thought is a mold. Conviction is the molten substance poured into the mold. So a thought with conviction creates a manifestation. Now, if you have a fearful thought and you are convicted about that fearful thought, you will have a manifestation of what that fearful thought looks like. And the opposite is true. How many times, how much time in your life, and I hope you've never been writing this down, but how many times you have ever had a thought of fearful, something fearful, and it got to the place where you would begin to worry about it. And then it got to the place where you started to feel your body reacting to it, trembling, loss of balance. All of those things can happen. You know what has happened? Creation is taking place in your life. But it's not what you want. What you want is something that brings joy, peace, happiness, and success, and prosperity, and a feeling of well-being. We don't, listen, God is not pleased when we let ourselves fall apart because we forget that we have these two powerful things, time and mind, and how we use that brings us the joy of life or the sorrow, fear, sadness, and loss in life. Dr. Holmes says things are ideas in form. On page 87, as Bob read to you, things are ideas in form. What else could they be? There is nothing from which to make things except ideas. There is nothing from which to make things except ideas. Excuse me. In the beginning, we behold nothing visible. There is nothing, there is only infinite possibility, a limitless imagination, a consciousness, the only action of this consciousness being our ideas. End of quote. Inspiration and divine nudges seeking expression all the time through you and I. Constantly, you get ideas, you feel inspired, and it's calling for you to act. Now, the action may be beneficial to you depending on what the thought was, or the action may be detrimental to you according to what the thought was. Who's in control of that? Guess what? You are. I am, for me. Nobody else is thinking for you or causing you to think in a certain way. You give permission for people to influence your mind. You don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. You are allowed to question everything that you hear that challenges your thought and to come to peace with it before you let it be poured into the vessel of the receptacle, as I said earlier, to bring your manifestation. Here's this. The thought is a mold. Conviction is the molten substance poured into the mold. Conviction. One is not complete without the other, and many people make the mistake of using only one of these essential states of consciousness. That's written in the Science of Mind. Where he said things are ideas. I read that to you. I've got to do it again because we need to already hear this. Things are ideas in form. This is an idea in form. This is an idea in form. The sound that comes from it when they turn it on is an idea in form. The chair you're sitting on is an idea in form. The clothes you're wearing is an idea in form. The mask you're wearing is an idea in form. And I wish I didn't have to have this idea, but we need the form of it right now. We need the form of it right now. Inspiration and divine nudges seeking expression. I said that. Trying to awaken the inner wisdom. You know what? You and I are walking around with a package full of inner wisdom. Have you opened yours lately? It's all right. I'm not going to ask you to put your hand up. No. Sitting in silence. Silence opens the listening channel through which is built into our nature. Silence opens its listening channel. Do you want to hear from the divine? Take time to be in silence. Do you want to experience something expanded about yourself? Take a walk in silence. If you have a companion, if you have a friend, if you have a spouse, and you want to take a walk in silence, you know what will happen? You will gain something that you hadn't thought about before. Or you may get an expansion of something that you had talked about before because you walked in silence. It's the only way we will hear the Spirit, in silence. Did you just hear that? Great. You guys are wonderful. Silent walks with a friend, a partner, a spouse. Just practice, practice, practice. Groups do this in silence. They walk in silence and then they come back and sit around and share what happened in the walking moments. So why is silence so important for us? Why is it that the topic for this month is about taking time off to hear the inner voice, because God is whispering to us. God never yells at us. You know who yells at us? We yell at one another. God doesn't yell. God is pure love, pure, unconditional love. So sweet, it'll overcome you if you think about the love of God. There's a song, the love of God is greater far than tongue or pen can ever tell. It goes behind the highest star and reaches to the lowest hell. The love of God is everywhere, omnipresent, whether you think you're in hell or in heaven. The love of God is never absent. Can you accept that? Go like this. Even if you don't believe it, let your body begin to say yes. This is practice. We're not here to just have fun. We want to have fun in our practice because we have a better taste for what's delicious than for what is bitter. Don't use bitter things to make yourself better. Use only sweet things to make yourself better. Why? Because all of us could be sweeter than we are right now. Agree? Oh, well, all the heads are going like this. This is the life that we are called to express. We are already spirit beings having a human experience. We are already made in the image and likeness of God. You don't have to be remade to find a better you. There is somebody in you. There is a song of eternity that's being sung in you that you need to be silent so you can hear. Silence keeps us. Keep in mind. Now, awaken the inner wisdom for guidance. Take a prayerful pause regularly. Put it in your daily planning. I don't have mine written down, but I remember every day to say, God, I love you. Thank you for walking with me. Thank you for walking with me. I never share this a lot because people think you'd be crazy. That's the best way to talk to yourself. Talk to the God in you. You know what? God is in you. Like it or not, God is in you. Don't be surprised to discover that when you open up to that idea, pop goes the divine. The love and the joy shows up. So I wanted to ask a question. When was the last time and how frequently do you simply just take time to listen to the song of eternity? Answer the question in yourself. Remember, the creative life wishes us to have all that we can use. And I didn't make that up. The creative life wishes us to have all, not some, all that we can use. You know why you're still here and still alive? Because you haven't used it all yet. And you'll never be able to use it all, but you'll be able to use it in all the ways you like. You understand the difference? Good. So Dr. Holmes says, I'm getting ready to wrap up here. If we keep our thought fixed upon the idea that this energy, with a capital E, that this energy, which is also intelligence with a capital I, is now taking form of some desire in our lives, then it will begin to take form. Close your eyes and think of something wonderful you'd like to take form in your life. Count to 10. Time. if we keep our thought fixed on the idea that this energy, which is also intelligence, is now taking form of some desire in our lives, then it will begin to take this form. If we change the desire, then it will change the form. Therefore, there must be a definite purpose in our imagination. You don't have imagination just to have another tool. No, you have your imagination because your imagination is the workshop of the mind. Your imagination helps you to develop more of you, to reveal more of you, to reach more others like you, to have more happiness for you, to have more joy and peace for you, and more love for you. That's why. So my recommendation is experiment in living. Experiment in living with a prayerful pause. Use the power of your life as a laboratory. What if you use yourself as a laboratory to examine and experiment with the power of your mind and the receptive aspect of the creative part of yourself that is open to divine guidance, love, peace, joy, and happiness? What will happen for you? Can you imagine it? I can't imagine for me. All I can say is it is grand. It is grand. And you know what? It's open like this. It's not closed like this. It's open like this. What do you use a funnel for? To pour things in. I got my funnel guard. You get it? Experiment with your life. So I'm closing with this. I created thank you. I created an acrostic for you with the word power. Power. P, power, energize dreams. O, optimize clarity. W, willingly fulfills dreams and visions. E, evolves divine nudges. R, reveals desires. Power. That's my acrostic. If you want it, get the tape, get the CD, or get whatever it is that got recorded right now. Remember, a silent pause opens the listening channel, which is built into our nature. Remember, work is love made visible. Remember, forgive everyone, love everyone, be at peace in the world. And I leave you with this. Spirituality is natural goodness. God is not a person. God is a presence personified in us. Spirituality is not a thing. It is the atmosphere of God's presence, goodness, truth, and beauty. And I love you to pieces. God bless you.